Yeah, I'll let you scan this QR code from the previous application and we'll wait for it a minute or two to others to join and we'll start the session. If you want to scan this QR code, let me start. I think it is audible. I'm audible and visible to all of you. Even slide is visible. And I hope it is audible also. So let me go to the slide where we have discussed yesterday's lecture. Cover on this thing. Fine. these slides. Yeah, we have seen some of the events and some of the examples of the event. Okay. Now, today we are going to now we are going to discuss each and every control in specific manner. The very first control in your vision basic. Okay. So whatever controls, our controls we are having. Okay. On the very first control that is we are going to use is called your picture box control. Now, first thing you remember, these controls are basically present in your form. Okay. So in the form you can see on the left hand side, these controls are present. Now we can use this control so that for user whenever is designing certain application or special application, so it will be very helpful. Okay. Now for interaction, basically the interaction with the user is much easier while using this control. So the very first control is for the picture box control. Now, the picture box control are among the most powerful and complex item in the Visual Basics toolbox window. So, as it is already kept, so as already said, so in a Visual Basic toolbox window, the one of the most powerful and most frequently used, okay, and most frequently used control is your picture box. And this control are more similar to form than the other control. But for example, you can say the picture box control support all the properties. So as I already said, each of this control are associated to certain properties, and we have also listed some of the common properties for the controls. Okay, so the picture box control support all the properties related to the graphical output, including your like auto redraw, like clip control, okay, like font transparent, then the current x, current y, that is your current coordinate where we are actually locating, and all the drawback, or we can say all the draw and file and scaling properties. So uh, what other what other property we are having that also associated with this control. Fine. So the example we are saying the picture box control is one of the most important control box. So as you know that the picture box control almost also support all the graphical methods. Okay, along with that other properties also support the graphical methods such as CLS property, preset properties, point, line drawing properties, circle drawing property, conversion method, okay, such as scaling of x-axis, scaling of y-axis, along with that text width if you want to increase the text width or equal to increase the text width, or even for the text height. Suppose you want to increase the text height or decrease the text height. So all these things are supported by the control box. Okay, or we can say the picture box control. Basically, this control is that we call for picture box control. The first feature of the control box is a load image. Right. The first feature is a load image. So the first control is the load image. Now with load image we can load an image in any different graphical format, including your uh, bitmap format, which is your BMP dot extension file, or device independent bitmap format, which is a DIV extension format. It can be a meta files like .wmf extension file, or we can say enhance meta files also, which is .enf, uh, and GIF format, and most common which we are using is the JPG. Okay, JPG compressed format. Okay, and icons, you can also you can use the icons also. Now this programmatically load any image in a control using the load picture is so big. Now you can see, okay, you can see clearly, you can see in this particular programming language how we are loading an image to the picture box control. Now what function we are using? Now you can see here this here is here. So I will use picture one dot picture. Okay, picture one dot picture is equal to load picture. And whenever I use the load picture command, so I have to add and reference. Okay, add and reference to that particular images. Okay. Now this load image function has been executed in Visual Basic 6 to support icon files containing the multiple icons also. Now this particular load image function, now this is a library function, okay, which is basically stored in the Microsoft Foundation class, okay, or you can say the library function, okay. So this load image is used. Now this load image not only used for loading an image, okay, loading an image, it is also used for loading and encoding pictures, right? If you consider the file name here, then the parameters you can see here. First of all, you have to mention the file name, then you have to mention the size, then your color depth, then the coordinate of mention that. Fine. So it will be also into the loading image type. Fine. Now the copy an image from one picture box to the other by using the target control pictures. Right. So many of them what we do, so we maybe this, okay, so on that case, so what we will do, so we copy an image from one picture box control to another picture box control by changing the. Now, for example, you can see there, so how we are using this one. Now, copying an image from one picture box to the other picture, so simply you can write this command here. Now, picture box picture 2 dot picture is equal to picture 1 dot picture. Now, what is happening here? Now, in this particular Visual Basic program, so whatever is there in picture 1 is simply copied to the picture 2. Right. So you can see here in this particular statement is copying. This is using for copying one picture from the another picture. And this in this application, instead of command button, the picture box will be copied here. So you can see the example is given. Okay, we have just explained what we have told. So in this application, insert the command button. So first of all, we have inserted the command button and a picture box. So then enter the following code. So first of all, you have to create a command button, then you create a picture box. Once a picture box is created, now we will perform this following procedure, which is a private. Okay, as the access specifier we are using. Okay, the access specifier that we have used is your private. Then sub command one underscore a. So this is a procedure name. The picture one dot picture equal to load picture from this particular path. Okay, this is my path. This is a D slash assembly slash smc dot jpg. This is my path of this picture where it is stored. So what we will do is with the help of this load procedure. Okay, with the help of this load procedure. Okay, we can load procedure. Yeah. So sorry for the interruption. Just one more. Okay, so what we are discussing now in this example, you can see this particular expression. First, we have to insert a command button and the picture box. Then we have entered the following code here. Now you can see the private here we using the access specify private and sub command one underscore click is the uh, procedure name. Then what we are doing now picture one dot picture. This is my object. Okay. Now on that we basically we will load a picture which is stored in particularly this path is given. Okay. Then the picture is stored from the path. The picture will be loaded. Now remember that this procedure should be ended with the end procedure or end sub. Okay. The last object set frame after end sub work with the every procedure that we are returning that should be individual basic that should be ended with end sub. So in this program, now in the next example you can see, so what we are doing, we are inserting a command button and an image control, okay, an image control into a form. Now what we are doing, so in a form, there is a form as well. So on that form we are basically we are entering the command button first. Now with the help of this command button, we are controlling uh, the image control is inserted. And besides that, we have set the image stress property to true. Now, this property should be true as we have discussed some of the events, okay, which are visible or not visible. Similarly, here, the image stress property should be true, otherwise, the image will be not clear. It should not clarify, okay, or it will not clear. So now, if we make this property as it, then again, we are using as you can see here, the name of the procedure is CMD underscore load ing click. This is the name of the procedure. But before that, you have to uh, insert a command. Okay. Now, you can see now image dot one picture. Now, in the object for image dot one picture, what we are doing now is we are loading a picture with the function load picture. Okay. With the path is given. So where the picture, where actually the picture is located, that path we have to mention. Now every process again, as I already said, every process should be ended with your end sub process. Okay. So if you just go through this slide, and this is your next control. Okay, which is your level control. So just once go through this slide, you will get some idea about the level control and why we are using this level control. Okay. So what the level control says, the level control is there's a very useful control for the visual basic as it is not only used to provide instructions and guide to the user, it can also be used to display the output. Fine. So why it is very important or useful in visual basic? So it is not only used to provide the instructions, okay, so first of all provide the instruction and it also guide to the user. How it is guiding? It can also basically used to display an output. So whatever output you will have, that can be easily displayed here. Then one of the most important this is captioning. So basically when the captioning is not used, okay, or captioning is required, so you will perform a captioning there. Then using the syntax level not caption. Okay, so we will use the syntax called level not caption. Fine. Level not caption. Now it can be display text and limited. Now the caption can be okay. The naming of this caption uh, can be used by level not caption method. Fine. So we are writing level of caption, so write a caption, and this caption can be written as either text format as well as in limited data. And we can change this caption in the property window and also at the runtime. So at any time you can do this, you can change these captions as well in the go to the property window. So where you will have the option for changing, or if somehow you're not able to connect, then you can uh, perform this one. So it can be used on text and limit data. Fine. So we can change this caption in the property window as well as runtime. Okay. So if someone wanted to bring the compile in the programming time, now we can also change the runtime. So we're running the program. And most people uses level control to provide the descriptive captions. Descriptive is they will provide description about the form or this particular description about the control. So whenever it's required, so why this is used or what is the basic need of that. Okay, so describe that one, so we need a particular name for that, and the name is particularly provided by the level caption. So most people use this level caption to provide descriptive captions and possibly an associated key for other controls. Okay, such as we know that if you're using the text box control or the list box control or number box, that doesn't basically have the caption. Okay. So to add the caption to them, so I have to use a uh, you can see there are some of the important properties of level control and listed here. Okay, as you can go through this. The first property is caption. So as we are already discussed, why this level control is very important. So very first one is your captioning, so where we can give the caption to other properties. Next is a back color and foreground color. Sometimes it is also called background color and foreground color. Now, whenever you need to change the either the background color or the foreground color, so we will use this one. Okay. Now for the captioning, the text that should be displayed in the level. Okay, you have to display the text in the level, and the text can be your numeric data as well as your this text data. Okay. Now for the back color, front color, the color of the background of the text or the foreground of the text can be changed here. Now third property is your back style. So basically it is transparent or not. Okay. Whatever the text you or caption you mentioned, whether you want to make it transparent or not. Uh, so we say that whether the background is visible or not. The font and size of the text it basically deals with the what type of font we are using, okay, and what type of style of writing and what is the size of the text that we are using. Then alignment, whether it is the text is placed in the center or the left hand side or the right hand side. This is the alignment. How we can alignment a particular caption. So these are all the basic properties. Okay. Some of the common properties that is associated with the control. Okay, level control. So next is your next very important toolbox that we are going to frequently use is your text box control. Okay, the text box control is like a level, but so it is very similar to the level. Okay, same property almost. So, but slight difference, it is used to input data into the program. So text box control, what it will do, it's very similar to the level data, level control. But what it is doing, it will take input from the user. Okay. So what it will do, it will take input from the user, and that data, input data will be you can say provided to the programmer at the runtime. Now the data type is in the text property of the control. That means either you can use the text data or you can also use the numeric data. And it is the most frequently used control in majority of the Windows application. So whatever the Windows application we design, so most of the time this text data is used because this provides interaction between the user and the system at the runtime. So whenever the user wants to interact with systems, okay, or give some input to it, so it can be done only with the text box. So that is the reason text box is very important or most frequently used toolbox. Okay, or you can see control that are used in your Visual Basic Windows application design. I hope it is clear to all of you. Okay, now just go through once. I will give one 1 to 2 minutes. Just go through this one. This is very important table. So which describes some of the properties and methods. Okay, what are the properties and what are the methods that are associated with the text box? So just go through this one. Okay, go through this one. Get an idea. Just read once. Okay, just read once. Or if you want, you can also make note of it also. Okay. So what are the tables? So the table has two columns here. One is the property of method, you can say, in the first column, I have listed all the properties and methods that is associated with the text box. And the second column is basically describe the property and the method. The very first property is a enable property. Okay, so basically this property specifies whether the user can interact with the control or not. Okay, so this property basically gives some uh, secret like whether the user can, okay, if it is available, then the user can easily access the, let's say, or interact with the control. If it is not available, okay, not available, then the interact cannot interact with the control. Next is the index. Now this index specifies the control array index. Right. The next property is called block. Uh, if this control is set to be true, that means block the not property is block property is true. The user can use it. Else, if it is control is set to false, it cannot be used. Okay, so very simple. Now, if you set the block property to true, now it will be specified that the user can use it. And if you make this is a false, you can say that the user cannot access or specify it. The next is the maximum length or max length to specify the okay, the max length property specify the maximum length, maximum number of the character in the input. Similarly, whether it's a multi-line property, okay, this can be set by setting this property to true. User can have more than one line in a text box. So of course, we want to enter more than one line in a text box. So we will go for this. Okay. Now next is your text. You specify the text of the displayed in a text box at the runtime. Whatever text you want to display at the runtime, when you enter this one, you basically specify the text that should be displayed in the runtime. Now there is a method. Okay, these are some properties that are associated with this text box control. Now the first method that is associated is called set focus method. Now this set focus method basically used to transfer the focus to the text box. Okay, so whenever you want to transfer a focus to a particular text box, so we will get this method or set this method to true. Then there is a change event. Okay, now the change event basically the action happen when the text box is changed. So whenever you make any changes to a text box, yeah, I think it is visible now. So whenever you make any changes, so first let me say, yeah. So first is just set focus method, which will be uh, transform the text box. Now this is change event. The change event action will basically happen in a text box whenever there is certain changes are made in your text box. Then click. Now click is action happen when the text box is clicked. So whenever you click on the text box, so there's certain changes will happen. Now this click method will be get activated. Now got focus. Now this action will be happen when the text box receives an active focus. So once the text box is get focused, okay. Now this method is get activated, and which will be get received a message form like active focus is activated. And lost focus method. So whenever so this will be happen whenever when the text box loses its focus. So whenever the text box is completely stuck, so we will lose focus from the text box and move to the next one. Fine. So these are some properties. Okay, these are some properties that we can that are associated with one. There is one question related to the text box. So once just go through this question, just read for 1 or 2 minutes. Just read this question. All of you read this question. So what is given? So two text box are inserted into the form. So we are having the form. Okay. So in this form, what we are doing now, I am inserting two text box with a few tables. Okay, with a few labels. Now I am using also some of the labels, and the two text box are used to accept input. Now what are the purpose of this text box? Now this text box are basically meant for accept input from the user, and one of the label will be used to display the sum of the two numbers that are entered into the two text box. So what will be I'm using three labels here. Okay. So one label for the input the first number, second is input the second number. Then finally it will display the result of sum of these two numbers. Besides that, along with that, we can say a command button is also programmed. So we have also inserted a command button to calculate the sum of these two numbers using the plus operator. So whenever you click the command button, the event is generated. Now this event will uh, actually call an event handler which will be add these two numbers and display the output. In the program, you just to create a variable sum to accept the summation of the values from the text box 1 and text box 2. And the procedure is calculated and displayed in output level. Fine. So this is a question. Now for that, we have written a Visual Basic program here. You can see here. So I'm using a procedure called command one underscore click. Okay. Now this is my procedure name. Command one underscore click. Okay. Now this is private specifier. Okay. Access specifier private. Now there is a message we are displaying command line, which is add the values of text box 1 and text box 2. Then I'm using a sum, a variable. Okay. So what the sum is doing now, it will be converting value. It will be auto converting. Okay. Now there's a val. Okay. So what value? It will be text one dot text. So whatever value that will be entered to the text box one, it is converted to the value. Because once we enter the text box, it is in string format. So now this string format, either explicitly or implicitly, should be converted into a numerical format. Now similarly, val text or to text, so whatever the value is entered in your text 2, it converted to the value. Then to display the answer on the level 1, so what we have to choose? Now we have to choose level 1 dot caption. Now we have used first level 1 dot caption is equal to sum. Fine, level 1 dot caption is equal to sum. So what the level 1 do? Level 1 do the sum. Now we will end with the end sum problem. Now you can see here is the output display, and this is my resultant window. Okay, now you can see here clearly that I am having number 1, which is your text box 1, where I have entered the value address. Now there is a number 2, this is my level 2, okay, which is level as number 2. Now the value is enter is 500. Then I have used a button called calculate. Okay, now there is a button called calculate. So whenever I click on this button called calculate, fine. So what will happen? Now it will basically add this two text box value. That means it will be add the value of 100 and 500, and it will display the result. Whatever result we are obtaining, the result will be displayed on a variable called sum, or in the level called sum. What is our text box value? How? Okay, now in this particular program, so we have used two levels here. One is your text box level and one is your level control. Okay, text box control and level control. Two controls are used. Okay, you can clearly see two controls are used. One is text box control and second one is level control for designing and Windows application flow. Right, so with that, as time is going to end, so I will stop the class here. To not start a new session. So meanwhile, those who are not given attendance, you can give the attendance. Scan this QR code for attendance.